checking in. Interesting information to talk about right now. I'm gonna let some people to join. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's funny how I could get. Whoa, what's up, everybody? Who's in the chat room? I think we only got one person right now. Hey, Rob. Hey, Lorene. What's up? I actually have stuff I'm shipping out tomorrow morning. They will be going out for some of you, and then on the 1st of the month, I'll be shipping out stuff for patrons. I got little Eye of Ra medals that I'm shipping out to people and different things. Hey, what's up, Colleen? Melinda, what's up? Hey, everybody in the chat room. So, I don't know. Of course, everybody probably has been feeling the energies here. The intense energies. Now, we have celestial creatures that are in this realm. And I feel that everything in this physical realm has been tainted, cursed, and for us to take advice from an outside source. Oh, Laureen, thank you so much. Oh, Laureen, you're a lifesaver. Really rough lately. So, yeah, it's been rough lately, guys. Like, I've been living off a little bit of money that I had saved. I don't want to just take some random job for cash because I have so much important work to do. But I'm figuring it out because I've been so. It's almost like I feel like I'm letting myself down or letting my family down by not like getting a paycheck from like a regular job or something like that. But it's killing me. It's been killing me. So I gotta follow my dream, because like I can't be there talking all this stuff and then half of the day I'm in a wow. That's awesome. So, wow, look at this. And I'm sitting here about to go pick up food for the family. And check out, just walking to the friggin' store. Look what's behind me. Look at this. Look at these stones right here. What the hell? This whole area is a sacred landscape. Look at this right here. Pretty intense, these stones right here. That one especially. Pretty cool. And usually you can't tell. Like, let me show you an example around the area I live at, because there's a reason why they call this area, like, you got Westchester County and Rockland County. Rockland County, Rockland. You know, there's towns like Stony Point, Stony Point. Like, this place is literally littered with you know, fucking amazing boulders, megalithic, monolithic structures that people are overlooking. Now, just behind me, look at, and this is like a shopping mall here where I am. Look at behind. Look at this. Look at this. This is just walls of rock. You know, interesting, very interesting walls of rock here. Very, very interesting. See this? All these just lined walls of rock. But that's not why I'm talking right now. This is not one of my forgotten megaliths and secret landscapes. Me smiling is making you guys smile. So it's not one of those forgotten landscapes and sacred sites videos that I do. Today is very interesting because on my work, I don't know if you guys have seen that out. Hey, Chicago. I'm in a shopping mall. I mean, literally, you could look around me. There's stores there, a Wendy's, a Taco Bell, and then you just got rocks everywhere, rock walls everywhere. And I think that rock was not actually prehistoric like some of the other ones around here. And what I mean, 100 years or so of recorded history. You know, everything else. That's what's a shame. So a lot of sacred landscapes, you wouldn't be able to tell the importance or the significance unless you're up in the air, because they're huge. A sacred landscape could be many miles long. So for you to actually see the significance of, if they're running east and west, north and south, the significance of the solstice alignments or anything like that, you would have to see either from like that all the way up the northeast. There's so many sacred sites nobody even knows about here in the Northeast. And I've talked about it before, how a lot of these places like Hell's Chamber, Hell's Hole, Hell Cave, things like that, they're usually named that way because when Columbus or Henry Hudson or different explorers came, they witnessed Native American rituals at these sites. And when that took place, they usually named that location Hell something. You know, Hell's Chamber, Hell's Hole, shit like that. So if you guys have been following my work, and a lot of you have, and hey, from Chicago, who was in the chat room, hey John, we are having a Zoom chat tonight again, or a YouTube live chat later from home base. I'm not sure which one yet, but last night at midnight we did a psychic viewing, and it was pretty intense. We did a viewing of a place in Florence called San Miniato. And there was only like 4 of us in there because it was at midnight. But it was a midnight viewing. We're going to be doing these midnight viewings sometimes, and maybe even tonight. So if you guys have been following my work, then you have noticed or seen me talk about that I'm writing a book on the obelisks of the apocalypse. Now, I'm not going to describe the whole theory. It's not just a theory, it's a fact about obelisks broadcasting transmissions, spiritual transmissions, and it can be used for light or dark, of course. Now, the heaviest concentration, the most obelisks in the world, you would figure, are in Egypt, right? Nope. Rome, Italy. They're in Rome, and they are on specific ley lines, specific spots. Now, it's my understanding they are broadcasting a spiritual transmission of the apocalypse, of the end times, of the dark ones. And you'll see most obelisks are on sacred sites of energy, but sacred sites of energy that have to do with a death or supernatural or destruction or some kind of intense bad vibe. Thank you, John, so much. And anybody who's donating even $2, $1 helps. I'm doing this stuff full time now, so me offering information is full time. Also, my Patreon, I have a Patreon that is the most mind-blowing Patreon you can find out there. I do daily news on there, paranormal news, supernatural news, weather news, any anomalous activity in true history on our planet, ancient history, occult history. I do occult breakdowns, psychic readings, crystals, anything out there that if you're into these topics, my Patreon's where it's at. And there's daily information there. I do sometimes up to 5 posts a day. And some of these posts take, hours to research and to do the right way, And that's where I'm getting at right now, because if you guys have noticed that I've been writing a book every day, I take about a half an hour or so, and thank you so much, Vibe With Me. Every day, I take about a half hour or so. And tomorrow morning, I'm actually meeting up with Steve Purdy from Revolution Radio. He's coming to meet me. We're going to go to the sacred site that I've been investigating. And we might even go to other places. We'll see. Steve was supposed to come today, but I had to cancel it because it was, well, we canceled it because it was raining. Oh, thank you, John, so much. Thank you, Vibe With Me. Send me an email, Vibe With Me too. I'll send you an email reading. I got Jessica's. I got your part too. I did Jessica an email reading recently. Now, see, my readings. I want to say that everybody, a lot of people do readings nowadays, right? But my readings are really a lot different than most because they're not. I'm not coming from a structured, like, a set of rules. Like I'm coming from a hereditary background that has been doing readings for thousands of years. So I'm able to tap into an ancient force, and it takes a lot out of me. There's a lot of people who say they do psychic readings, but in fact, what they are, and they understand the meanings of tarot cards, and you get to know people very well, and you're able to do a reading that seems like you're tapping into the auric fields of people and psychics, but most people are not real psychics. Most people are, there's a difference, you know, and there's only a few real psychics out there. And from what I understand, you know, from what I've witnessed, because I'm one of these people, and I'm not bragging. Don't take it as a brag, because I'm definitely not someone who's like full of himself at all. I struggle with things just like everybody else, but from what I've learned, and you're talking to a person who does readings for a living, has been doing them for shit. I'm 41. I started doing them when I was in middle school. So, and I'm talking about just sitting there with my friends on a Friday night after a movie, and I'm doing like tarot readings and things like that with people. So I've been doing them for a very, very long time. You know, 30 years, damn near 30 years. So, and you're talking to someone who has professional psychics come to them for readings. Like most psychics that are out there that are like, and I'm not going to say names because, you know, it's unprofessional, but like there's some way high profile or more high profile people than me, way more, like rich people that are doing this for a living, and they come to me for readings, you know. Many ones, you know, some of them have come on my show and have talked about it, like that I can mention, like Klaus Dana. Like I did a short little reading for him on the phone one day, and I blew his mind, you know. And he's a very famous I don't know if he's an archaeologist, but he's definitely an author. He's definitely a researcher in the Philippines right now, doing intense digging. And you can find documentaries on Klaus Dana, things like that. But most people that are true psychics, something happened to them to make them that way. We've been disconnected from those abilities. So usually when you go through something traumatic or a near-death experience or something like that, your body has to compensate or does some sort of adjustment during that to try to save itself. And a lot of times you come back and you're different in some ways than you were. And that's what happened to me when I had a near-death experience. In fact, I had two in the same year where I had a massive concussion, where I got hit unconscious. I fell at the town pool. I came running out of the friggin' locker room, and I slipped on concrete, and I got knocked out at the town pool, and I was really bad. And then I had a real near-death experience where I died, and they had to operate on me to save my life. And you know, so after that happened is where I ended up having these abilities. And a lot of these videos that I'm posting on YouTube, I make only available for my Patreon afterwards. So you're not, some of you aren't catching some of the stuff I've been posting. But yesterday I posted and talking about how there's 7 sacred sciences on this planet. There's more. There's probably more. But in Kabbalah and different occult studies, they talk about the 7 sacred sciences. Now, one of these sacred sciences is musicology, if you want to say, or the esoteric application of music, or the esoteric side of music. And at that, when it comes to that, I'm at the top of my field. I'm not saying I'm the most skilled musician or the best musician out there. I'm good, you know. I write my own music. I'm very creative. I can play pretty much everything out there. I mean, I can't play like classical, really fast, Yngwie Malmsteen type or Steve Vai fast, but you know, I'm very creative. But I have a certain raw emotion and energy that generates when I play, when I do any type of art, and that is something that is considered a sacred science on this planet. And the other day, I literally felt like I was going to disappear. I was in the woods by myself. I was feeling sick all of a sudden, and I felt like my body was being pulled apart in a way, like I was just going to cease to exist. And it was just, I was going to I was going to be gone, just disappear. It was the weirdest feeling I've ever had. And I was able to, I started to jog, and I started to jog in zigzag formation. And I was able to escape it. I felt like I was going to disappear. I really did. And there's been intellects, you know, and I have a very high IQ. I remember when I used to have to take these special tests when I was a kid. They wanted me to go to a gifted private school called, what was it called? Green Meadow in Rockland County. And I had won a national poetry contest when I was in 6th grade. And I was taking all these special tests, and they were making me watch all these do these tests where these rapid images would come, and all these ink blots and all these different things that I was doing. So I had like 130 IQ when I was younger. I don't know about now, but high IQ people, high intellects, and also people that are at the top level. Some of them will be alone somewhere hiking or somewhere in the like this, and they'll just disappear. It'll be very weird circumstances that have to do with it. Now I know for sure that there's break-off civilizations being made on the moon, on Mars, Venus, within our Earth, inner Earth, because they know that we're at an ecological collapse. Our world, our physical realm is collapsing on itself. Even the moon is not collecting souls anymore. There's no more coming back. There's no more. And it has to do with these people with the 7 sacred sciences. Because they're starting new civilizations. They can't just have just regular schmoes. And one of these sacred sciences is musicology and the esoteric understanding of music. And that's something that I know very well. And in fact, like when I play, I activate the esoteric side of music. Yeah, well, YouTube has suppressed me big time. I got a letter from them like a while ago, 6 months ago or so, and my literally subscriptions, they haven't moved in over a year. It's been at 2,180 subscribers. 475 to 2185. It stays in that range, and so it's been stuck. I would have to like restart my account, they said, and I'm not losing all my material or whatever. We're making another account. I'm not starting over. I don't give a fuck how many subscribers they say I have. You know, it doesn't matter. Like Jessica just said, the right people are here. The right people always find my chats. They always find my Patreon. The right people are always in my groups at the right times. They always find them at the right time. So they can't keep us down. So what I wanted to talk about, because I have to go home, I have to go back, and we'll do another live show in a little bit, is that I have to go into the store and actually get food and stuff, so I can't be talking in there. But what I wanted to mention is something that's very important, and you could see more information on my Patreon about this. I made a post like a couple hours ago with a diagram and everything else, is about the obelisks that I've been researching. And you guys got to understand too that these are special instruments. They are tools to broadcast and receive transmissions. And we have currents in our body that receives and transmits energy. Just like your left hand, your left hand is the one who receives energy, and your right hand is the one that gives energy. That's right. If you're ever doing any energy work, and you always take something, if somebody's handing you something, you take it with your left hand, and then you give it to them with your right. You know, it's always why people shake with their right hands. Is because you're giving a energy to them. You know, you're saying hello. You're greeting them. If they were handing you something, you're supposed to receive it with your left hand. You know, but when you guys are both greeting, you're both greeting with your right hand, because it's like you're both giving a welcome. You're giving an exchange. And even like Steve was talking to us the other night. He asked me what benvenute means, and I think that's his mom's maiden name, Benvenuti. Benvenuto is like a good arrival or a welcome, like you're welcome. And a lot of times so I think his mother's maiden name actually means like many welcomes. You know, many good arrivals, many welcomes. It's very similar. A lot of times on Italian menus or like Italian restaurants, they'll say outside, il benvenuto. You know, it's like welcome, the welcome. You know, they're welcoming you to the specials of the day. They'll have benvenuto, the new arrivals, or something like that. The welcome to the restaurant. You know, so that's what it's about. Like receiving and transmitting. And we have currents in our body, the Ida and the Pingala to the Eastern mystics, but it's basically just the god and the goddess energy, the masculine and the feminine energies. They're energy currents, they're ley lines basically that crisscross, like a figure eight kind of, in a way, like a fish, almost like a diagram of a fish kind of. They crisscross within our body. And I posted on Patreon as well today. And these currents, they create receivers, or terminals, if you want to call it. Like, they'll create terminals within your body, and these terminals are your hands, and that's how you receive and transmit energy, through your hands. And these currents will create those terminals in your hands for you to use. Now, getting back to the obelisks now, I've been doing research on these obelisks, and the ones in Italy or any other Catholic site that's sacred in the world that has obelisks, you'll see a few characteristics that are pretty across the board with them. One of them is the cross on top, of course. But underneath the cross is what I'm concerned about right now. Underneath the cross, you will see a star, and it's a special star. It's the Elven star, the Fae star, the Elven race star. Now, sometimes there's different points on it. Like the different number of points may vary sometimes, but usually it's 7. It's 7 points on the Fae star, or the Elven star, or the morning star, or the evening star, or the star of Venus. There's so many names. In fact, I think in Lord of the Rings by the author J.R. Tolkien, it's called the Iridel. The Iridel star, or something, the star of the Iridel, or something like that, which actually comes from the name Venus, which is the morning star. So this is real mythology they use, real, and this is that was the star that is the star that is the most important star to the Elven races, the most magical star. This star is seen in the occult as a gift from the Elven races to humanity, and it's a spiritual technology. It's a symbol. It's a gateway symbol. It's a symbol that activates gateways, and it opens lines of communication with the other world. And these stars are on every Catholic obelisk you can see in Italy, pretty much. And they are broadcasting a certain energy, and they are establishing a direct connection with the other world. So, like I said, is it good or evil? Well, you can use two sides of the coin. Of course, you can use it for good as well. But the Catholic Church are using it to broadcast a message of the apocalypse, an end times message. It's about opening you up to the afterlife and waiting for, to reanimate. You know, the Catholics, they're burying their bodies. Why? Why, right? Why do people bury their bodies? Because they're expecting to be born again someday. they're expecting to rise, where Jesus will return, and everybody's will claim their soul, right? So this is something that is being used in a dark way by the church. They hijacked this technology, this spiritual technology, and they're using it to broadcast their end times message, their message of the apocalypse, and they're harvesting souls this way. So this face star, look at it in Pinocchio. You know, in Pinocchio, the same thing. It's the same star. Even in Cinderella, and let me remind you, in Cinderella, in Pinocchio was a blue fairy, I think, but and the blue flame is how they transport between one realm and another. They'll arise in this blue flame. And fairies, sometimes they're pictured with wings because of how fast they move from one dimension to the other, and from how fast they can zip around the forest. It looks like they have wings because of how fast they move. Even in Cinderella, which, let me remind you, that the fairy that helped her in Cinderella was actually her mother's dead spirit, who came back to give her spiritual technology to help her out. And you know, this is all real stuff here, and they have these 7-pointed stars, or sometimes even 8-pointed stars of Ishtar. You know, the face star couldn't be more obvious. Stay tuned. Look for updates on my. Understand how much it helps. Even $1 or $2 donation helps. Really helping my work and this mission that we have.